Scatman era of the
Yeah, I
internet?
do.
You're the man now, dog. That was an old era of the internet. I meant to tell you before we started. I forgot to eat my snack before this, so I might be hangry during all of this. So
You
Kristen
can
and
you can
audience,
you can munch on your Uncrustable
all right,
live. We can
I'll
turn into a
save.
mukbang channel.
Yeah,
What do
no,
you
I'll
guys
save the
think?
mukbang for 1,000 subs.
Oh, okay. That's so sad. Yeah.
What's
Thanks
up,
for
chat?
joining us.
Thanks for popping in, Pascaline, Asus, Hind, Cool Beans. I haven't seen you in a minute, dude.
Yeah, he's been busy living life.
Yeah. Oh,
And I see MFA
remember
here too.
the 15th of October.
Well, if we ever do mukbang, what do you think is our like disgusting
I can't.
challenge?
It grosses me
Can?
out. It grosses me out. I just like I have, just like the sensory. If I
Mhm.
hear some person chomping on a carrot on a stream, instant block.
Oh,
Like,
you're
just
those
get out of here.
misophonia people.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Oh, that's no fun.
Yeah, they used to. What's up, Faith? Yeah, no, I mean, my brother and I used
Hey,
to
Hona.
come to blows when
Mhm.
we were kids because he would chew with his mouth open and that like made like a smacking sound,
Yeah.
and he couldn't help it. Like, so
Mhm.
so we had a big kind of like aha moment a couple months ago. I mean, like,
Mhm.
I guess more than 3 months ago.
Mhm.
Um, but basically it was like I had hearing sensory issues where like the like off sound that I didn't want during the meal was
Mhm.
bothering me.
Mhm.
But he had muscular dystrophy issues where he couldn't like close his jaw properly while like he didn't have the jaw strength for it.
Oh, okay. So you can't
And
even.
yeah, and my parents were completely clueless about any of these issues with all of us. And so
Oh,
like it was just a perfect storm of, you know, it's nobody's fault. It's just
okay.
conflict.
Well, maybe we can be the first people to do like mukbang with a food that makes no noise. Like, I'm
What?
imagining
That's the
like
whole point of
tofu
the
or
thing.
something. Like, what can we eat that
I think a
generates
tofu
no noise?
mukbang would actually be worse.
Yeah. All right. So
Oh,
no mukbang for now, but
for now. I mean, if we
yeah.
get 1,000 subs, I might eat the bullet.
Okay.
Bite
Maybe
the
you
bullet.
can wear like
Bite the bullet.
headphones or earplugs so you don't hear anything. Well, the rest
Yeah.
of it just like smacking or something.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just boomer grandpaing like
Hmm.
what?
Yeah.
What? Oh, I do have I mean, I say I hate the mukbang thing, but I always
Oh, yeah. That's not fair. Is this one of those CBD drinks?
oh, that was gross. It tastes like crushed up ladybugs. Ugh. Um I thought it might have been like a CBD drink, but I don't
Mhm.
think it was because I just got it in like a store, like a normal store. And are those controlled substances? I don't even know anymore. But
Depends on your
so,
state and country.
well, I'm Massachusetts, so it might be communism hell, and so we might be
Mm.
able to, like, it's a hellscape, so we probably have it. Oh, it has a bunch of magnesium in it, I think is the thing.
Oh. Well,
It,
don't collapse or shit yourself during the show, please.
I will try my best not to do either of those things, Kristen.
Okay.
I mean, it does have 28% juice, so that's 72% of something else.
Yeah. Well, is it claiming adaptogen things? Is
I
it
don't
supposed to
know.
make you chill?
Is that a Pokemon?
What happened? This is like the opposite of your usual Celsius hyper caffeinated. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so what I do is like if I see something in a store during
Mhm.
the week, I'm like, oh, that's a drink I haven't like. I'm trying to try new drinks,
Mhm.
because life's too short to just drink the same stuff, and so I'm just like trying just new experiences, just like add some stochasticity into your life. And
Oh.
so this is Trip Mindful Blend. I probably should intro it before I taste it and then rag on it, right?
Mhm.
But it is Trip Mindful Blend. It has a shaka on it, which I think is probably what caught my eye. And
This
then
whole like mindfulness packaging.
yeah, I mean it has the matte color, purplish color, lavender color, raspberry blossom, lightly sparkling drink. Mindful Botanicals is the subheader on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it has like ashwagandha in it and L-theanine, and you
Oh,
know,
so it's
it
gonna
has
make you chill and smart.
smart.
Yeah, isn't that how you say it in Boston?
Yeah, wicked smart. This will make me wicked chill and wicked smart.
Oh, everything I
Oh,
know about that area I learned from what's his name? I was gonna say Mark Wahlberg, but no, it's the
Matt
other guy.
Damon.
Matt Damon. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, him and Ben Affleck, dynamic duo up here. They're like saints, basically. Wahlberg too.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, it tastes kind of like raspberry and flowers, which
Mhm.
is why for Quan mango lassi is like I've literally made lists of drinks, and
Mhm.
mango lassi is easy top 5, usually top 3, depending on where I get it
Mm.
from.
Mhm,
Like in
mhm.
terms of
Same.
like it's just. But I was having a conversation, and people don't realize it's a dessert, or like it basically should be considered a dessert.
What are you talking about? No, it's a beverage you drink alongside your spicy food.
It's a milkshake. Like it's
Yeah.
100% a
Oh,
milkshake.
this goes back to callback of the time when we were trying to define whether Wendy's Frosties are a milkshake or not.
Yep. And they're
Um,
not.
but so yesterday I had, this is a full regret. I had a Starbucks Frappuccino, like first time in a long time, and I
I
thought, yeah, this
regret.
is an adult milkshake, because it's like full of sugar and caffeine, and it makes me all wired and jumpy. I
I didn't
mean,
realize you're 6 years old.
well, my metabolism is that of a 6-year old.
Does it really make you jumpy?
Uh, well, it makes me crash, right? Okay, if it's
Mm.
just the highs, it makes me jumpy. I'll be, oh great, this is fantastic. But the thing is, what goes up must come down, and I
Yeah, there are
forget that it
consequences to our
destabilizes
actions.
me.
I mean, I just feel like that's the theme of being in a 30 plus year old body, is it's just like your actions have consequences. I think
Mhm.
pre 30, your consequences don't always follow your actions.
Yeah, or you recover from them so fast that it doesn't matter, and now there's like
Mhm.
long-term consequences. Trademark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, speaking of long term consequences, we're we're stumbling through today.
we are.
How 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 are you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. I was just complaining to you about my dry eyes.
Yeah. Your
But yeah,
dries.
I just came back from a trip a few days down in Charleston, South Carolina. I realized I didn't update my Farcaster location. But anyway, I'm back home. And it was really fun. Like my wife went fishing with her fishing buddy. So they caught redfish, which is a
We're in South Carolina or North Carolina?
South Carolina,
Where in South Carolina did you go? Roughly.
Charleston.
Okay. Okay. So like right outside Charleston.
Yeah, yeah. So
Gotcha.
there's there's Charleston, and then there
Yeah.
is this like kind of bougie neighborhood called Mount Pleasant, and
Yeah.
that's where our Airbnb was. And then they were
That's
fishing in
nice.
the Isle of Palms, which is another
Oh, cool.
very tropical looking place. And yeah,
Well,
so they did the fishing, and then me and Scott's wife Sandy, we did all the touristy stuff. So she's a really huge quilter, which apparently is a big industry of crafts. This is like
yeah.
serious, like 5-figure machines and everything. Like
Yep.
they have their versions of Tesla, but for sewing. It's like a whole thing.
That's
And
crazy.
so yeah, so we visited those shops, and quilting's a huge thing over there as well. We did
Did you do
all
like
the
a
rainbow
tour?
row houses.
I was about to say, like, so you saw the row houses with
Mhm.
like the front and back open door, kind of like wind channels.
Yeah, like I don't know whether they call it shotgun style, but yeah,
I think s- I think there's like a special name.
mhm. Yeah, I forgot. I
Um,
think Georgian style is what they called it.
mm,
And I haven't looked up whether
mm,
that's Georgia here or Georgia like in Europe. And then there is we went to the oldest tavern in the world that's still
okay.
running.
Okay, sure. When was it founded?
I don't remember. But it has really old brick that they have re-exposed. But the thing is, it's like it's like the oldest place, but it's like young people who have like revived it are running it
Mhm.
now. So that was really nice seeing like
Yeah.
they're trying to revive a tradition. And they, during the prohibition, they had like underground tunnels where they were
Right.
smuggling the booze. And they also operated under a barber's license because barbers back then could prescribe alcohol as a medicinal thing. And
God,
that's how they
those were
got
the
around the
days, man.
prohibition.
Make barbershops great again.
Yeah. They were one-stop shops back then.
That's sick.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, there are plenty of things that are way sicker, but that's fun.
Mhm.
So you had a good time?
Yeah. And then that's why I sent you my pregnancy emoji along with a hush puppy with a dollop of honey butter on top.
So for anybody that hasn't hacked into our Telegram messages, Kristen sends me like a big because on Telegram
Giant.
when you just send the emoji, it gets huge, and so she sent me pregnant, and then she sent me a round donut hole looking thing with a dollop of cream looking stuff on top, and I was like, this is insane. But we never actually clarified. It was a throwback to us talking about hush puppies, right?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
No, but like, why did you send it? You should know that.
Well, I was just making a generic, I'm getting fat of hush puppies joke. And I love reclaiming the pregnancy emoji to mean that I ate too much.
I didn't know that. I think that's the first time you've sent that to me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying you could use it in so many ways that are alarming that I love.
Dude.
Yeah.
No, it was funny. I appreciated it. I was confused for a second, though.
Well, but I also I didn't say it explicitly, but I'm like, oh, now I understand why you like to eat the things you like to eat because this is like, that's all you can eat over here. All the fried stuff.
Oh, so you're talking about food in the South being
Yeah.
bad for you because it's fried and covered in butter and tastes really
And
good?
so delicious.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. I grew up eating a bunch of garbage, and now I'm an adult, and I have consequences for my actions. So if I eat a bunch of garbage, I have a bunch of heartburn at night. So it's terrible.
Wow. It was worth it. # worth it. And now I need to go back to a somewhat normal diet. But yeah, how about you? Like, what have you been doing the past few days?
I'm struggling straight up. Like it is a rough time in Cameron's life. The
We're here for it. That's what the show's about.
yeah. No, I mean it's like you have plans and then you want the plans to like get implemented and then work immediately. But the nature of all plans is that they fall apart as soon as you start them and you have to adjust them as you go. And so, I had / have a vision of how I want my day to go. And then, I might not be in the right headspace to like write about something when it's writing time, which is like kind of a cop out because you need to be able to pump stuff out at the right time, but also it's a factor. I might be doing a bunch of chores, but then one thing ends up taking a full hour as opposed to the 5 minutes that I thought it did. Like one example is I have a bunch of little scraps of things that I'm like, okay, I want to save this in like a picture frame because it's like a note from my brother or something like that. And so I ordered, all these frames and stuff to do it, but then they send me a bunch of sparkly, freshman girl in college type frames as opposed to the actual frame. And so now the thing that was supposed to get done today, I have to wait for the new stuff to come.
Did they actually send you the wrong frames altogether?
Yes, fully,
Oh, man.
same like SKU, but wrong model of the SKU.
Ugh.
And so like the for fans of logistics that are unaware, SKU is stock keeping unit. It's how you refer to items in like purchase inventories. We're a wide ranging podcast.
SKU? Because shouldn't they have a different SKU for the different models?
Yeah, so on Amazon they're actually called ASINs.
Oh,
and
right, ASINs, yeah.
Yeah, and so sometimes what happens is like multiple different things will get mapped to the same ASIN unexpectedly, but I think it was just like picked and packed improperly.
Did you at least get your push pins from last week?
I did, and
Okay.
so that resolved a future issue of needing more push pins and a current issue of like I have a weeks since my birthday kind of piece of paper stuck to my wall, but I had one push pin in, and so it had like wilted down like a little flower, and so now I have the two sides up, and so that's solved that problem. The cool beans, you're right. if you're a fan of, I mean, you could also just be a new fan of logistics and not really know all the intricacies. Um, and any logistics fans that haven't worked with Amazon definitely don't know what an ASIN is because that's a weird Amazon thing.
Oh,
But yeah,
I keep
anyway,
forgetting that you actually worked at Amazon. I was like,
I
oh,
did.
I'm so impressed by your knowledge.
I
Because
worked at
I have
Amazon,
like
and
sold stuff on Amazon before, so I'm like, oh yeah, it's such a pain in the butt to do this ASIN to SKU mapping.
yeah, it's also interesting to think how Amazon is effectively an immutable utility for
Mm-hmm.
most people today.
Mm-hmm.
When like we grew up with it becoming Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
and so because like I've been thinking about tech companies in general, because software engineer working with stuff like that, and a lot of things that are the big techno capitalist winner overlords of today
Mm-hmm.
didn't start that way, but now they're in a spot where it kind of feels inevitable that they stay that way. And so I'm like trying to figure out what a new world order with those companies kind of not controlling every facet of our life like looks like. It's hard to
Right.
think of. I can't really think of it, but
Yeah. Well, that relates to a question I wanted to ask you about today's theme.
oh
Because
yeah.
I feel like now with the mega conglomerates and algorithms and whatnot, it's hard to actually accidentally come upon something. So I
Yeah.
was wondering when's the last time you actually stumbled upon something that you would normally not encounter?
I think I do a relatively good job of going to places where a little bit of manual work is required.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, algorithms are in charge of every kind of social aggregator, like a Reddit or like a Hacker News or TikTok or any of these places. But there are pockets of those places that are less, like there's just less people touching it. And so there's still little, there's still quirks. And so I think Hacker News is kind of a good place for that. Like not the first 20 links, but if you go down to page like 2 or 3, there's a bunch
Mm.
of weird stuff, like
Oh, there is.
yeah, like
Maybe I should check it out again.
you'll find somebody that like uploaded a typography book from the 30s,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
something like that. Because and that like that kind of stuff I've stumbled upon. I mentioned this on the last one, but I'm reading a 6th century like pre-Islamic warrior,
Oh yeah.
like his poems that he wrote while just murdering and protecting his village in 560 AD. And
Mm-hmm.
so like I found that in like one of these random little pockets of the internet. So that's like the last thing that I bought,
Mm.
probably. Let me look around. What else have I gotten?
How did they preserve that warrior's poems?
I think they found it on like cuneiform tablets or something.
Mm.
Because like paper doesn't really last in the desert, if I
Mhm.
recall correctly,
Mhm.
and so it must have been like carved into stone in some way,
Can
shape, or
you
form.
can you like write a few of your poems in cuneiform tablets, please?
I mean, you joke, but
I'm not
it's
joking. I'm actually semi-serious.
it's not that crazy. Like I think stone is not
Mhm.
the move. I think like printing it on a steel plate is closer to the move.
Mm, yeah, 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 yeah.
And so, aces, yeah. Like I think I've thought about that, and so I just got to figure out. Like I don't want to have 100 pounds worth of steel plates in my house, and so I got to figure out where
Well,
they go. Just drop them in the woods.
yeah, I was thinking you bury them or something. I don't know. Like there must be some way to preserve things.
Yeah,
Time
I mean,
capsule.
Tori. See, I'm torn with like the ethics of tagging places because on the one hand, I do support street art.
Mhm.
On the other hand, I have this like really rigid sense of justice around like influencing things that aren't yours. I don't
Hmm.
know. Oh, I want to ask you a question. Do do I come across as an all or nothing kind of person?
Chat, like, should we break it to him?
I don't know what that
What
means.
do you think? Socratic method this.
Kristen, if I have an opinion about myself, I already know it. I'm
Okay.
asking you.
I mean, because I'm married to someone kind of like you, so I'm used to it. I'm like, yeah, more than average. But I'm also more than average, as you know.
Okay.
right? Right? I think you're like, oh, you're not, no, you're not near the all or nothing pedestal at all. But
No, so it's not gonna offend me. Like I think I'm either all like I kind of perceive myself
mm-hmm.
as I'm fully doing something or I refuse to engage with it.
Yeah.
So that's like what I'm trying to figure out is if if chat seems to agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I I'm just trying to triangulate, my sense of self with other people's sense of myself with like other data from the world, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah.
I
But that's a hard
mean,
thing. Like I, on the theme of stumbling, like I really feel that it's very hard to be that part of myself right now because there's so many things that I have to kind of keep like juggling in the
mm-hmm.
air. And
Mm-hmm.
so being an all or nothing person is really hindering me right now.
So isn't juggling multiple things in the air kind of like the opposite of all or nothing in a way?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So right, and then I think in the last episode I was saying to you, "Oh, I'm just letting the balls drop," and you were like, "Don't say that." But then I'm like, "No, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Is that
no.
in order for me to be all or nothing, I need to drop some
Kristen has to let
balls."
her balls drop. Yeah.
Yes, they just need to descend
The
into their rightful places.
yeah. I mean, we haven't we,
This
we
is why
haven't
I no
brought up
longer stream on LinkedIn.
I mean, we got to bring in the LinkedIn speech of like glass balls versus rubber balls.
What? Is that an actual like
Have you never heard
LinkedIn
that?
music post? No, I have not heard that one.
Okay, so you're juggling a bunch of stuff,
Uh-huh.
Some of those things are rubber balls that if you let them drop, they'll bounce and be fine.
Oh, okay.
Other things are glass balls, and if you let them drop, they'll shatter, and that's bad.
Ugh. Okay.
And so, and then you can get like real crazy with it and be like, oh, some are sandbags and they don't bounce back up, blah, 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 blah. But
Oh. Well, okay, how
the,
about this? Like, okay, if you are allowed to drop a ball and it bounces back or whatever imagery you think is ideal, which thing in your life would you let drop?
that's the thing. Like, I don't,
Or is it that the dropping itself needs to be all or nothing? So you can't pick one ball anyway.
yeah. So, I mean, it's tough because there's like stuff that I do for myself
Mm-hmm.
and there's stuff that I do in service of other people, and then there's stuff that I do for other people,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's stuff that I do like for myself in the future versus like now. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, and then there's also in addition to the doing, there's like the various monkeys on your back that you have that
Mm-hmm.
hinder you from doing stuff, even if everything is like in the clear. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Oh,
And
Cool Beans brings up a really interesting physical point, which is that like there are these like Prince Rupert glass drops that have like a long tail, and then
mhm.
those you can't even crush with the hydraulic presses because they're so
Yeah, but
strong.
you can like tap it in a specific way and they
Yeah,
break.
yeah, yeah. But the ball part is strong, so
Yeah.
so glass balls probably won't shatter if we drop them.
Well, so for the pedantic folks in the audience, we can call them crystal balls then, but not like a witch's crystal ball or a
Mhm.
soothsayer, but
Mm.
like a Swarovski crystal ball. Sponsored. We're sponsored by Swarovski. Shout out
Oh.
Swarovski crystal.
Yeah. Well,
The
another like fun fact is that you have to cover these crystal balls with a cloth, not only because of the magical properties, if any, but because they'll set your house on fire. If the sun lands on it, it turns
that
into
sounds about right.
magnifying glass, and then you just burn your house down by accident. Fun safety tip for
Yeah,
esoteric ownership.
yeah. For aspiring witches, invest
Yeah.
in cloth. But
Um.
okay, but so what you're asking is like, can I drop stuff? And my answer is, I don't know, man. I barely feel like I'm juggling anything right now. Like,
Well, yeah, because I'm doing this systematic elimination in my head of things you
Yeah.
do. I'm like, oh, you can't really drop any of these.
You're like, I gotta feed a baby. I gotta be a
Yeah.
good partner. I gotta keep my machine in check and exercise unless I
Mhm.
wanna really pay the piper a couple years from now, and I'm
Mhm.
already real bad about doctor stuff, like, in a classic male sense.
Mm.
The, who knows the next time I'm gonna get to a dentist? Yikes. Um, I have some like, I'm barely keeping the little feelings like, I'm making poems, but I'm, like, barely keeping up with getting them on the site. I have to make money at some point
Mhm.
in the next few months, like, we have savings, but we're, like, burning through them,
Mhm.
and so, like, like, none of this is, like, turning on a dime. It's like a
Mhm.
cruise ship that was already struggling to turn that I have to, like, still keep turning, and it's gonna take, like, 6 weeks for any type of meaningful turn to happen, and that's the thing that I'm, like, coming to grips with right now
Mhm.
is I can't expect anything to get better for about, like, 6 weeks, or
Okay.
at least that's, like, the number I'm having in my head, because if
Mhm.
I want stuff to be better by the end of the week, I'm gonna be disappointed. You know what I mean?
So, this leads to my question
Sure.
that I would love to chat to answer as well. So, what would you do if, let's say, you have the ability to freeze or stop time for a week, where everyone else stops
Oh god, that's so rad. Yep.
except yourself, and we can add in more caveats if it's too inconvenient.
Yeah. Um, what would I do? I honestly think I'd take a couple of days to just screw around in a video game. I think just because, like, video games give me and other people, like, a sense
Mhm.
of control back. Like, it, like,
Yeah.
gives you a sense of, "Hey, you're doing something," even if it's ultimately meaningless,
Mhm.
and I do that as, like, a little confidence booster,
Mhm.
and then I think I would just maybe nug through my physical space.
What does that
Uh,
mean?
like, I have, I can't move the camera without just completely borking my entire setup, but I have piles and piles of, you know I gotta call the insurance company because they misspelled my son's name. I gotta,
Oh.
like, I got,
Mhm.
dumb bills I gotta chase down because of a
Mhm.
thing. And then I have
Mhm.
I gotta open some packages and do stuff with that. Like, I have some of the
Mhm.
frames, but not all of the frames for the thing I was gonna do
Mhm.
with my brother's stuff. I kind of need to set up this bookshelf. I need to,
Mhm.
like, I just have all these physical reminders of, like, piling up, hey, you're not on top of your shit.
Mhm.
And oh, I got a bunch of warranties I need to log for all this baby stuff in case, like, there's a recall. So I have, a bunch of that stuff there. And, like, given the time and space, I will just do that stuff because it's really satisfying to, like, clear through physical space, even though it's not really helpful. And so, like, I
Mhm.
don't know if my impulse for what I would spend time on if I had the time is actually going to help me.
Well, I mean, you kind of listed all the things that you enjoy doing, so that's nice.
I don't enjoy any of that.
Oh, okay. So, but you enjoy the outcome, right? You want the space back, and you enjoy that. But to do
I
that, you need to.
enjoy the absence of anxiety about having a disordered space.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe that sounds like a nice thing to do.
I don't know if I count that as a positive. I count that as defeating a negative. We had this whole conversation a couple months ago.
Well, I mean, we gotta face it. Are we truly people who enjoy positives, or are we the kind of people who just want the relief of getting rid of a negative?
I mean, asked a different way, like, how neurotic are we?
Yeah, which is another question that
Very,
Chad
very
should not
neurotic.
answer because we already know the answer. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to own these things. I mean, as you know, I'm doing the same thing with my nugging of physical space
Yeah,
situation.
yeah. You know the
Yeah.
term nug, right?
No, when you
Oh,
said
okay.
that, I was like, "Is this McNuggets? Like, what are we talking about?"
All right, so maybe that's a frat guy term, but, like,
Oh,
nugging is like
yeah.
it's like it's like carrying wood, or it's like, chopping wood, carry water. It's like you just,
Mhm.
like, where does it come from? It's 100%.
Is it a grug thing? It sounds very gruggish.
Okay, I gotta look it up after the show, but
All right.
it's basically grinding, like just
Mhm.
grind through it.
Is this a millennial or zillennial term?
I don't know. I mean, like I think so. A lot of military and military college culture, because it's
Mhm.
like more, it's closer to normal college culture, but like military college culture is kind of a combination of fratty culture and a military culture,
Mm.
and which is like inherently tied with the youth because that's who goes through military college. And then so I kind of like came into the military with an interesting vocabulary, which was like, 30%
Mhm.
fratty stuff, like 40% military stuff, 30% weird internet person stuff.
Mhm.
And so Cool Beans brings up an interesting point. If it puts you in a better mental space, it's a win.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you have to live in a bad mental space for longer than you'd like.
Mhm.
Like, just because you feel better doesn't mean it was the right thing to be spending your time on.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to, I spent the all or nothing
But
question.
isn't it like there's 2 meters? Like, you can't
Sure.
if your mental whatever is not good enough, then you to be too depleted to do the hard stuff anyway.
I mean, that is something that sounds reasonable, but could also just be cope.
Everything's cope.
Yeah. But so like
So you
that,
might as
that's
well
why I've
cope
been
the way
thinking
you like.
that's why I've been thinking about the all or nothing thing,
Yeah.
because I used to fully live my life for other people's objectives.
Uh-huh.
Military college, military, like doing all of that I was like doing other people's opinion of what should be done.
Mhm.
Same thing with like my early startup stuff. And then I hard pivoted into I'm only going to do what I want to do.
Mhm.
Now I'm trying to live in the in between of like, okay, there's stuff that I really find important. There's obligations that I have, which like I do ostensibly like want to do in theory, but in practice, I'm like, no, I don't really want to do this thing, but it needs to get done.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to figure out how to live in a space where I want things, but I can't always
Mhm.
do all the things that I want, but also I don't cop out and be like, oh, I'm not in a good mental space to do XYZ thing that I don't want to do, because I'm never going to be in a space where I want to do that thing, but I have to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, hello, that's just me. But I mean, this goes back to how remember I was bringing up how I like to like my brain has a certain order in which it wants to do things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, I do have to clean the entire freaking apartment before I can get started on a task. And it's like it's more work for me to fight against the internal sense of order than it is to just follow along with whatever I decided or
Yeah.
I decided.
Yeah, you know, I think I do that some days. I think I don't do that other days. I don't know where I sit on that exact issue.
Yeah. Oh, and Tori brought up, can you just hide your stuff like in a box?
So I can in some cases. In other cases, if I hide it, it'll disappear and I
Uh-huh.
will never call the insurance company.
Oh, well, yeah, that one you need to prioritize. But I feel like the warranty scanning thing. Actually, my other question for you was, have you ever considered hiring a personal assistant?
No. I mean, like I have considered it, but I've never seriously considered it. I just like
Mhm.
don't I don't think that I have like a lot of my stuff is like physical. IRL stuff. Digital
Mhm.
stuff is less of a challenge. Like I have good systems for like my inboxes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so like, I don't see that being a useful part of my life.
Mm.
The cool beans. So now you like, don't you pivot now to living your life for your kid? I don't think that's healthy. Like, I think there's definitely a ton of things that you need to do in order to be a good parent. And I'm still figuring this out. I'm only a month and a half in. But I think one of the big reasons that a lot of people are really unhappy in their life is because they didn't make space for themselves.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
doesn't mean do your shit at the expense of their kid having a good and fulfilling and rich life where they're prepared for the world.
Mhm.
But if you just live for your kid, I think that is satisfying for some people, but ultimately it makes you spend 18 years doing something a certain way, and then as soon as that 18 years is gone and they're like out of the house, you still have to live with yourself for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
And I think that, I mean, it canonically catches so many people off guard. And maybe this is, just me being naive, but I think there's a way to kind of do both. Like you don't work 100% of the time and never have a relationship with like your kids or your family because you're focusing on yourself, but you also don't neglect all of that other stuff beyond what you need to do to keep the lights on. It's just like
Mhm.
figuring out where on the spectrum you want to live. And also, I think it's part of setting a good example for your kids to like have aspects of yourself that are like rich and multifaceted. Like I plan on writing for the rest of my life, and I ideally would like that to be part of how I make money and generate economic value. But but just the fact that like my son should be able to look at me and be like, "Hey, my dad is a writer in some way, shape, or form." I think that adds richness and depth to to their life, or I hope it does.
Mm. So, like, what in the last episode we alluded to Teddy, your son, unlocking a different part of his self awareness every few days. So,
Yeah,
so
that's nuts.
what a new achievement unlocks.
So he has. It's really easy as a parent to be like, "Oh, they're hitting all these milestones early."
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. He learned how to smile, or like he learned like the beginnings of like what smiling was a little while ago, around like 4 weeks, which is like early.
Oh,
Now,
yay! That was a
yeah,
big thing, wasn't it?
yeah, but it's not as like A happens then a smile happens. You know what I mean?
Just like stochastic smiles.
It's like related but delayed. Like all of
Uh,
his reactions are like delayed. Like
mhm.
you can put something on like a string and go by his face and it'll go by, and then half a second later or a second later, excuse me, he'll be like, because he just doesn't have that brain body coordination yet.
Mhm.
And so, but now he's starting to not quite intentionally, but closer to intentionally hit things.
Mhm.
So he has like a hanging stuff where he like lays on his back, and he's like starting to get to the point where I'm like, oh, is he tapping that thing on purpose now as opposed to just like neurologically, spasming?
Mhm.
He also he also kind of gets upset in a way that isn't necessarily specifically tied to something that is bothering him.
Mhm.
And so somebody told this to me maybe like 4 weeks ago, and I found it to be broadly true, which is there's always a reason for why a baby's doing something. They're fundamentally rational beings, even if they like, can't like communicate the thing that's bothering them, right? Like if they're fussy, maybe their diaper's wet, maybe they're hungry, maybe they're over. Like there's some reason for it. They don't just like do it to spite you. But what he's been doing recently is he gets upset and he'll like, cry or like, wah, but like he's not doing it with an angry face.
Mhm.
He's just kind of making noise so that you engage with him. And then
Mm.
once you start, so he's like crying for attention as opposed to, kind of like a lower Maslow's hierarchy pyramid thing, which is interesting because like you'll pick him up and then he'll start, smiling or like he can't like quite smile, and also he doesn't have teeth. So it's like, kind of like a, 90-year-old person smile. But he also like smiles by just having his mouth like open. So he'll just be
Mhm.
like, and that's like the
We
smile
gotta
because,
screenshot that.
yeah, just do that.
Fan edits.
But anyway, the point of this is me being more interesting than just the person that ferries him to all of his like youth sports or whatever, I
Mhm.
think is also a part of developing a well-rounded and good person.
Mhm. What kind of youth sport do you imagine?
I don't know. Like, I'm really torn in that you can't ever truly be great at something without without crazy genetic luck, but
Mm-hmm.
also without starting it from a really young age, like really earlier than I think you can consciously pick something. So you can't say like, oh, they'll do whatever, we'll just do whatever they want, because you know you'll get them in baseball and then they'll have to go to the outfield and then they don't want to play because they just want to hit and then they'll quit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because that's how children think. Because that's reasonable. I don't want to do the thing I don't want to do, even though it's part of this whole thing. Selfishly, I kind of want to get him into gymnastics
Oh, that was
because,
not what I thought at all.
well, it's because when I was like a teenager, I wish I had started gymnastics. So that was kind of like a personal thing.
Oh.
I mean, for a lot of reasons. One of them being they have the best strength to body weight ratio of all athletes, but
Mm.
just in general, it was something that I wanted to have been good at when I was
Mhm.
like kind of growing up, and I just like didn't really have the chance to.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, and all these gymnastics kids now do like either body weight fitness type stuff or like parkour. I feel like.
yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like a good base. It's the same reason I
Mhm.
wanted to, do study physics in college. Like physics majors get the highest scores on the LSAT. It's just kind of like sets you up to do other things if you want.
I didn't know that
Um,
you wanted to be a lawyer.
I didn't. I wanted to do physics because physics majors get the highest score on the LSAT, which implies if you do physics, you can do whatever.
And the LSAT's a good measure for that?
I mean, it's like it was a very interesting measure of cross applicability of learning how to think in a specific way. Is like why I like that's how I
Oh, wow,
associated.
that's deep. I did not think that hard about picking my major.
I mean that this is me, Kristen. This is how
Well,
I
I like wet goopy stuff
you what?
of the sciences. I'm most well versed in the wet goopy stuff, which is biology.
Wait, what do you? I don't know what you're saying.
Because like physics is like the mathy stuff, and then chemistry is the chemical stuff, and
Sure.
then biology is the wet goofy stuff.
I mean, all of it is physics at the end of the day, and
I
all of it's math at the
know,
end of the
excuse me,
day.
comic, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But that's why like biology is more like art. It's like a more closer to like science and art merged together. There's a
Sure.
lot of stuff that's like like you gotta guess, or it's like about the visuals and all of that. So it's way less precise than chemistry and all that.
Yeah, the lack of precision really bothered me.
Well, no, going back to all or nothing.
Yeah. I just like I'm forever chasing the feeling of taking a math test and knowing there's a right answer. You know what I mean? Like that's the world
Life
I
must be really
miss.
hard for you.
Yes. Like frankly, this is why it's like hard for the boomers too. Like good guys used to be good guys, bad guys used to be bad guys. That was never true, but it felt true.
But everything's all wet and goopy and mushy.
Yeah. And that's a bummer. You know.
Aw.
I
Well, oh, how about this? Is there a way to like I mean, I echo this too, right? Like there's like a physical discomfort with dealing with things of the world. How can we be comfortable regardless of what's happening in the world? In Buddhism, we call this unconditional happiness.
yeah, I mean, I think comfort's overrated.
Hmm.
As somebody who desperately seeks comfort and avoids discomfort in some areas of my life, I lived in extreme discomfort for a long period of time.
Yeah.
I would neurotically take showers multiple times a day because I didn't want to lay in my bed after walking around in my uniform for a few hours because I would sweat in the Virginia heat.
Hmm.
And so I was at military college living in like a military barracks, and I just tried to do all of these things to figure out how to be more comfortable in an inherently uncomfortable thing.
How did you do Afghanistan?
I mean, you kind of just give up. Or like you find like you rationalize parts of it of like, oh,
Mhm.
I don't need a shower for this because I'm not going to bathe for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Or it gets to the point where you're so gross that like a baby wipe shower is sufficiently degrossifying for you, because it's all you can do. And
So
so
do you
like,
think like because to me like you've actually like the irony of this entire thing is that you've dealt with like discomfort to the maximum of everyone around in this chat and including me, right? So is it like your body's going like, well, we've already done the worst, so no, I'm gonna run away from that as far as I can.
I mean, that's what I think has kind of happened over these past few years is I lived on one extreme end of the spectrum and
Mm-hmm.
then I aggressively ran to the other side, which is a lot more creature comforts in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate some of those and other of those, like some of those aren't serving me. And so I'm trying, I'm trying to figure out, like, I don't want to be locked into this system of, oh, I need all of these different things to feel like myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like one of the big problems right now is if I don't do thing X or I don't take a walk here or I don't feel like I'm myself or like right or it doesn't feel like things are doing the thing like I don't feel right is kind of like the
And I feel like you're not even asking for much. That's what I'm saying.
no.
You deserve all of this.
Yeah, but like, you know, if part of the tidying the office before working on stuff is
Mm-hmm.
this comfort seeking aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like
That's so little that you're asking.
I know, but it might be too much at this point in time.
Mm.
Because I have such finite time to do, the things that I need to do. And I have so many things that like, also, this isn't a woe is me type thing. This is oh, I am very ambitious with the things that I want to do, like creatively and professionally. And I want to write and publish multiple books. I want to keep writing poetry. Like I want to do all of these things. I want to make music and all this other stuff. And
Mhm.
I have to trade aspects of my life in order to do that at this juncture.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
so I'm
mhm.
I'm trying to accept that while also like I have this huge grief monkey on my back that
Mhm.
isn't getting better because that's not how that works. It's
Mhm.
just a thing that takes a long time to it just becomes a part of you.
Right, right. I mean, like, there's that book that we both like, right? The one about the rituals of writers, and I think there's like a
Yep.
for writers of who are women or something like that. And then I
Mhm.
feel like, oh, it was really a enlightening book for me because, like, of course, I have this idea of like someone like John Grisham or something who allegedly woke up at 4 in the morning and wrote his like fiction based on being a lawyer or whatever before
Yeah.
going to work, right? But in reality, a lot of these like people are also like, I'm gonna wake up at 2 p.m. Like there's a lot of like very leisurely routines as well that they were able to construct.
Yeah.
So
I
I feel
mean,
like, I don't want to force myself into like one of these super hardcore routines either.
yeah. I mean, the we definitely mistake like we have bad pattern matching with success
Mm-hmm.
because like the kind of people that have specific kinds of success that are conducive to high distribution on social platforms isn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily most people's system for success.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that said, there are a lot of people that could do leisurely things and then succeed because they had like a trust fund or they're an 18th century aristocrat or
Right,
whatever.
right. Yeah. And there's a huge bias towards that.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like for me, I mean, the point of it though is that there's a lot of ways to win.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever winning means for you, and I am trying to like embrace that, and I'm trying to embrace that like I'm just trying to embrace that everything takes a lot more time than you'd like it to.
Ah, I know, which
Like,
sucks. 'Cause I feel like now with the world the way it is, it feels like time is even like there's less time. You know what I mean? Or maybe I'm just getting older and literally there's less time because
yeah,
it's
I
a
mean,
fraction of my lifetime. It's less time.
you are dying, and you should be anxious about that. Is
Yes.
what I think you're trying to say. The no, the thing with time is that it is in nobody's best sales interest for you to believe that it's going to take a long time for something to work because they need to be able to sell it to you that it's going to happen faster than somewhere else. Like you'll succeed faster, you'll make more money sooner. Like you'll do all these things that'll make your life better now
Mhm.
because now is a really, really good sales tool. Like it makes the purchase decision happen here because every second you waste is a second you are not as successful as you could be.
Mhm.
I think broadly the reality of how things happen is that they just happen more slowly. But nobody can sell that because it's really hard to sell.
Yeah. Truth is a hard thing to sell.
I mean, nobody wants to buy it.
I know. Well, cool beans says we invented time, so there's that. That's true. Like time is
I
a
don't think we
modern
invented
construct.
time. I think we invented a way to market.
Or like I don't know. I don't know whether this is true or not. Like whether the humans of the past, because they didn't have a way to, well, they have a more like lengthy or less precise ways to mark time through like, the sun and the moon and all of that.
Yeah,
Like that
sticks in the
also
dirt.
means you're a lot less pressured. But there's also like less things that had immediate outcomes.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
we've shortened dopamine loops to an incredibly short amount of time.
Yes, which is unpleasant.
Like if you could afford it, if you could afford your rent, you could
Mhm.
just watch TikToks all day and then feel really good about yourself until you like hate yourself. Like I feel like we need to update the 7 deadly sins for gluttony to like not just be about food. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
Like that, like gluttony needs to also bring to mind these other categories of consumption. Because I think it's frankly a much more accurate like descriptor of gluttony today.
Oh, that's a really good one. Yeah, like a modern rewrite of the 7 deadly sins.
Okay, good video idea. Rewrite of 7 deadly sins.
Yeah. Maybe okay, so while I was away, I was telling you that I really enjoy being able to spend time with friends and to disconnect and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like being in a very artsy place like Charleston made me think, oh, I want to take up, drawing and art again without the pressure, like self pressure of being good or showing people anything I'm making or anything like that. So I feel like now, like the 7 Deadly Sins is also an interesting visual art series.
I think somebody just did that with selfies. I think like
Mhm.
one of the big like Twitter artists did a 7 deadly sins with like celebrity selfies.
Oh, interesting.
The Have you seen Man in the High Castle?
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm talking about?
It's a Amazon series, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's an Amazon series. It's based off of a short story. I think it was an Asimov short story. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Oh, really?
But the short story is obviously much shorter than the show, which is
Mhm.
multiple seasons. I'm rewatching
Mm.
it because I didn't realize they did multiple seasons. I just saw the first one and never finished.
Mhm.
I'm also kind of doing a media tour of all of the stuff that like my brother and I used to watch together.
Mm.
I realized this the other day
Mhm.
because I'm just kind of like self-soothing in that kind of way.
Mhm.
But I've been rewatching it, and so the general premise for anyone that hasn't seen it, and it's 10 years old. I don't really care about spoilers. The you know Germany and Japan won World War II over America. They dropped the
Oh,
A bomb
yeah.
on the U.S., and
Mhm.
so it is
How
occupied
relevant.
USA.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so Japan has the West Coast, Germany has the East Coast, and so and you kind of like flip coast to coast, like what occupied life looks like. What's the
Mm.
cultural export
Mhm.
in the colonies of these various imperialist empires.
Mm.
And so in Japan, like there's also a power dynamic because the Germans have the nuclear bomb and Japan doesn't. And
Mm.
so there's still the tension of more war.
Mhm.
And obviously, both of those empires are using real police state type clampdown tactics to quell insurrection, classic American rebellions. But so one of the main characters is a metal worker. He's like a sculptor, artist guy.
Mhm.
with Jewish ancestry. He didn't grow up Jewish because it was illegal, but he like, has this ancestry. So him and his family is always Jewish, and they're always like having to hide it. And so he's meeting with another, secret Jew in this world, and that guy's asking him if he's working on his art. And so he obviously can't get a job as an artist because that's not really valued in the way that he wants to, like, because he makes, you know, non-sanctioned art. And so he works in a machinist shop, and so he'll make replica firearms and stuff because the US's main export at this point is like culture, like replicas of culture that other countries can like buy and take home and be like, look, I got a Colt 45 like revolver type thing. Or like, shoes from the Prohibition era or whatever, flapper dress. And so in this conversation with this other guy, he's like, oh, like, why aren't you doing your art? And he's like, I don't, what's the point? And the guy comes back with, you don't need all these people to keep you down. You have this own inner fascist inside you, stopping you from doing stuff.
Oh, oh,
And that hit,
for
man.
real.
That hit. Like,
Well.
10 years later, I watched that and I was like, oh.
Oh, well, I mean, that's a good note to end on. I think.
Yeah, woof.
Yeah, well, and then again, like you already so overcoming that through your poetry and all of that already. So, but yeah, that's
More stuff coming out. Littlefeelings.com. Got a blog that you can subscribe to. I go through. Actually, have you, like, you've been reading those a little bit, right?
your poetry.
No, not the poems itself, the blog updates.
Oh yeah.
So in there, I talk about like the stuff that I'm doing, like how many poems I've added, new collections, I'm on social platforms now, whatever. But I also have a site change log of like, oh, I add a new like icon here or a new pathway here for users. Is that interesting? Is that like useful?
I like it.
Okay.
but like, are you looking for more like engagement or comments or subscribers?
I mean,
Those are all different.
like a classic website has the perpetual problem of how do you let people know when something's different?
Yeah.
Which is why newsletters and stuff exist. RSS feeds were kind of a solution to that problem, but it didn't really work.
Yeah, RIP.
And so I ask because it's work to catalog what I'm doing of like, oh, I changed the format of this page. But I think that's interesting to people that are making their own stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll keep doing it if people find it interesting. It's
Well,
also
I love change logs. So
yeah, that's kind of what I suspected. What are you getting up to now with Reframe and everything?
so Reframe Daily is probably the part that, thanks to all of your support, is the one that I work on most consistently. I do joke with my friend Chow that I've actually wanted to kill this project like at least 5 times already.
How many subs does it have?
Huh?
How many subscribers does it
It
have?
just has 100, which is
Okay.
really nice.
It's growing.
Yeah, so it is growing, and because like thanks to all of you like telling your friends and things like that. So I feel like considering that I actually do very little promotional work, I was like, oh wow, it really has legs. It's like the plant that you planted and you sort of like neglect it, and then you check back, and you're like, oh, you grew. Yeah, so
That's what we're trying to do. Like we're trying to have these things where we can like. Here's
and
what
it's
I
also
think.
always this thing, right, where like the creator of something, like I perceive it in a certain way, and when it has a life of its own, that's where I feel like it's really exciting. But it also takes a level of patience, right? Because like the spirit of it doesn't get into the body until something happens.
I think one of my big challenges, and I think one of your big challenges too, is we kind of spiritually move on from something because it like we're living every step of it. And as it's growing and gaining momentum, we're like, okay, this isn't going to work out. So let's just like do it for the love of the game, follow the playbook. And then by the time it starts working, we're like, oh, I've already grieved that this wasn't working. What do I do now?
Exactly. So that's one aspect of it. Like I feel like the next phase of it like is to start testing some outreach or inorganic sort of outreach.
Sure.
Like now that has 100 people, right? I'm like, okay, like this is where people would sometimes buy little ads and sponsorships, you know?
Yeah.
Because I need to have it. Oh, the other nice thing I like about Reframe Daily, and for those who subscribe may not notice that, it's at first I put like more of myself into it. I
Yeah.
was just treating it as like person's personal updates, but
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of various things that cropped up, I actually like stepped away and made it a lot more like about the
Yeah.
news itself.
I think it being a arm's length makes it better, frankly.
Yeah, and I feel like it's this trust that I need to develop where sometimes I use my persona as a crutch for a project, you know?
Yeah, it's also an ego thing.
Well, I'm like, maybe it's an ego thing, but it was also like utilitarian. I was like, well, no one knows what the hell this is. Maybe they know who I am, that kind of thing, right? But
Mm,
yeah, I feel like this has legs in terms of being like a more faceless kind of
I think
project,
so.
which I really like because I feel like that's again like because I'm trying to also like look for a full-time role right now. I just can't afford to have too many things going at the same time. Speaking of dropping balls, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, okay, what's the minimal thing I MVP of Reframe right now that I keep going while I also start this very full-time thing that I'm doing right now, talking to people and networking and
Yeah.
resumes and all of that.
It feels right, even though we want to have all of the capacity to do all the
I
wonderful things we
know.
want to do.
Yes, yes. And even like, oh, this show, right? I feel like
Yeah.
we've also like, trimmed the fat in terms of all the things that we did that you
Yeah.
guys may not even know to make the show run. And
Yeah.
we're like again like almost like a food truck, you know? It has all the important components, but not a lot of the, shiny stuff right now.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get there one day. Maybe it stays like this. I like it. I like it either way, I think.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
with that, thanks everybody for dropping by. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week at our normal time, 11